Hi, my name is Jardy Soto, and I'll be presenting my comprehensive case study for a reading intervention for a second grade student in my class. I began the intervention by administering the IRI so I could find out information about his reading levels to best design an intervention for him. Beginning the intervention, it was important to establish rapport with my student and let him know the purpose of the intervention. I let him know that this would be to help him in his reading and that I was looking forward to helping him discover what his strengths and weaknesses were. That helped him to calm down as he experiences a lot of anxiety because reading is something that is difficult for him. I knew him well enough to know that each session should be short. I should read one passage with him, one silent and one oral, so that he wouldn't feel the pressure of having to read so much and raise his anxiety. I began 2 years below his current grade level with the pre-primer list, as he is a second grade student. Following that, I was able to determine which passage to begin with and continue to test him until he reached his frustrational level, at which point I began the listening capacity test. These were the results of his intervention. He was at an independent first grade level. Once we went into the second grade level passages, those became a little more difficult for him, and that was also reflected by previous assessments early in the year using Francis and Pinnell. His frustration level was in the second grade passage, the level D, and at that point I started the listening capacity at the third grade level passage. The intervention, after analyzing his results, showed that my student needed assistance with phonics and decoding in order to improve his fluency and his comprehension. Phonics and phonological awareness can have a significant impact on students' reading abilities, as was found by the National Reading Panel's report. So I decided to make a phonics-based intervention, which consisted of phonics instruction using the Preventing Academic Failure program to improve his accuracy in decoding, using guided reading, using Francis and Pinnell methods, in class 20 to 25 minutes in a group of 3. During this time, I modeled a lot of think aloud strategies for decoding so that he could apply them while he was reading independently. Then in the afternoons during RTI time, I also used the Francis and Pinnell reading intervention, which is level literacy intervention. The reason for using both the guided reading and the level literacy is that through the use of level text, he would be exposed to multisyllabic words, which would allow him to continue to practice the phonics that he was learning. The results of the of the intervention showed that Brandon was able to make growth. He went from being an independent H, which is about a end of first grade level, and by the end of the intervention, he was performing at the beginning of second grade, which is a level J. Both instructionally and independently, there was a growth in his accuracy. His accuracy averaged between 90 and 97% prior to the intervention, and now it's between 98 and 99%. I also used the results of the Preventing Academic Failure Placement Assessment, the blending where they practice nonsense CBC words. Prior to the intervention, he got about half of them, 15 out of 30. Post-intervention, he raised his scores to a 22 out of 30. I believe that my intervention was successful and that Brandon is a more confident reader, but it also showed growth in his reading levels. Thank you.